Being Broadtail is brought to you by CPJ, distributors of Grey Goose Essences, the Harry J Recording Studio, Broad Axe Communications, 1010 Events and Rentals, and Morgan's Creek. Hey everyone, I'm Dania Beckford. Bold, sometimes brash, and since I'm the CEO of Broadtail Design, I consider myself Broadtail beautiful. It's time we make the conversations we have as women open, honest, and authentic as we navigate living our best lives. Join me as I have intimate conversations with women of all sizes, shapes, and confidence levels as we explore being Broadtail. Hi, my Broadtails. Welcome to another episode of Being Broadtail. My guest this week has been my friend for almost 2 decades. Clearly, we're aging ourselves. And we have quite the stories to tell. We've seen the highs like dancing on the top of bar counters. And we've seen the lows like just laying on grass because we just can't get up. But seriously, we have shared some of our most memorable happy moments and hardest lessons learned together. From psychology student, the life of the party at university, youth empowerment officer, to yoga therapist. I call her the High Priestess, but you may know her as Trishan the Free on IG. My guest this week is my friend Trishan Haughton. Hi, Trish.
Hi, Dania.
How are you?
I feel like you're going to tell everybody we're business.
Yeah, pretty much. And that is why we have to start with a drink, because it's going to be reminiscent of the good old days. Good old days when it was early Mondays, whatever Tuesdays, Pasta Wednesdays, Bembe Thursdays, Dirty Friday. You can't recall. That's what you're going with. Well, anyways, my friends at Caribbean Producers Jamaica, they have introduced me to Grey Goose Essences, and I absolutely love it. I know we put on the vodka drinking long time, but trust me, Pandawania. No, but trust me, Pandawania.
I believe you. And the bottle is sexy.
Right? So what happened is that I'm going to do 1.5 parts soda water, 1.5 part tonic water, and then 1 part Grey Goose. And so I did a little thing before because girl, saying in Jamaica, you have to have 10 career in order to make it work. And so, bartender, I am that today. So I pre-mixed it.
And I mean, I'm having fruit. So
yeah, and I know you like watermelon.
I can just, it's healthier.
Healthier. You're going to go because fruit is in there.
Because fruit is in there.
Right.
Live
and I
fruit.
put a little rosemary in there because you don't know.
Like a green bush. I like it.
And then we're going to cheers.
Darling.
Let me know. Tell me. Tell me, smell good, right?
Dania, this is our vibe.
I said, I'm telling you, me know what they put on the vodka drinking, but it has a vibe.
It doesn't even taste like in your face. Like, it have a nice little...
A 3 time you drink now, though.
Why are you counting?
We have a whole show.
We don't do friends like that.
So, Trishan, I'm very happy that we're actually getting to do this podcast because we've been talking about it from season 1 and we're at season 3 and we're just making
We've been talking about it since before you had the show.
It's true.
Okay.
Before we had the show, that's true. And we haven't been able to do it, but I think it's the right time. I think everything has been so aligned that we're getting to have this conversation now. I love having my friends being a part of my podcast because it's a part of things we've spoken about for years.
All the late night conversations.
Everything.
Random conversations.
And so I'm just so thankful that you made it onto the couch, my high priestess.
I'm so happy to be here.
So no, we'll have to start from the beginning of you and I, actually. So
I
am actually walking on UA campus one day, probably 2nd or 3rd year. I'm going to see this girl in a long linen skirt with a crop top, heels. At that time, you were a smoker. Do you remember this?
People don't know that,
At that time, she was a smoker. She had a little cigarette in her hand and she had her books on her bag and shoes. And I'm like, who walking her heels in a long linen white skirt. I got school. That girl, yeah, I got to be my friend. Me never tell you at the time, but I was like, no man, that girl, I have to be my friend.
Because you have good taste. That's really what that was.
We woke up at one party, and I remember it so clearly. It was Juve. You know, Carnival season is a big thing on UA campus.
Right.
I don't know if you remember. And all of a sudden,
Carnival Queen, hello.
Yes, and we had this like a dance off to Lady Saw. Your man, he told me that he said. You remember that?
No, I don't. And it's probably for the best.
Okay.
Really?
So that is actually how we met.
No,
yes.
Wasn't it when you were wearing the homemade jeans that I thought were so cute? No, that wasn't it.
We're not going to talk about that jeans today.
Oh, wrong show. My bad.
No, we're not going to talk about that jeans that I'm going to make in my room.
But I thought it was like, I was like, yeah, this girl is so visionary.
Thanks.
Yeah, I could tell you weren't ready for the compliment, but I saw you. I saw you in that moment.
So we have different views on when we met, guys, but we met.
But it was at UA.
It was at UA. And then we met in the career world a little bit after that, where I turned up for my position as a publicist, PR specialist, actually, at the National Center for Youth Development. They don't call it that anymore.
No, they don't. But that's the name anyway.
That's the name anyway. And you're a youth empowerment officer.
Responsible for youth leadership, yes.
Right. So that's when we our friendship kind of soared, right, in that space, because our desks were close to each other and we had the history from UA. And we're about to do great things in our lives that we did not know we were about to do.
Yeah.
But I want to start from the beginning of your life, where people think you come from town because you got St. Andrew High School. But you don't come from town, though. Tell the people where you come from.
Obviously, just by looking, they can tell that I am from St. Anne.
Thank you, the Garden Parish and all the beautiful ladies. Thank you very much. Tell them. Let them know.
Obviously. I mean, whenever, because you know, Jamaican stay in time, them see me. He come from St. Elizabeth, don't it? I just feel really annoyed. Yeah. Like, why can't you just tell by my amazing essence that I was born and bred in St. Anne?
Tell me about your life in St. Anne before you actually came to Kingston.
St. Anne is where I knew love. You know, I grew up with my grandmother. Granny Grain and Granny Love are just the ultimate thing. And I went to Monique Primary and Junior High School, the first primary and junior high school in Jamaica, by the way.
Oh,
because I know St. Anne is good for these things.
Oh.
And, like grew up like a real country girl. I walked to school through shortcut and call run me down a couple times.
Shortcut bring draw blood.
And why did we say that? Why did we say shortcut draw blood? But yeah, I mean, you know, I grew up with my grandma, my great grandfather for some time as well, my aunt, my uncle, and my grandmother's husband. And it was just an amazing experience, an amazing childhood of growing up with, where I played Dandy Shandy. Sightings, as we call it, them time there, and cricket and everything. I make kite when I kite season and all the good things in life. That liquor, I forget what it called when you make the box with the lime for the wheel. Them we make the truck.
The truck,
yeah.
Out of the juice box,
right? And I was that girl that used to play with the boys. They don't know about those things, but I was that girl that used to play the elastic band and marble. And take out the boy them elastic band. Remember, there was a time, there was like a season, and the boy them have like 300 elastic band on your hands. Yes.
I was not that girl, by the way.
I believe you. I
was the girliest little girl.
I also used to play with dolls, you know, and one of the things that I used to do that my grandmother really had a problem with was that, you know, she used to buy her fabric for make her church clothes and thing. And when the church clothes reach the dressmaker, one whole square just missing. Come cut it out for make dolly clothes. I made dolly clothes night and day. Dolly swimsuit, dolly dress, dolly brassiere.
Dolly everything.
Dolly socks,
and
dolly stocking. Everything. Every dolly handbag and crochet things, a whole heap of things.
But how did the transition happen to Kingston? Because I feel like you've lived many lives and it started there.
I don't know. My mom lived in Kingston and And so I came to high school in Kingston to St. Andrew High. And of course, that meant leaving everybody behind. And I don't think I really understood the impact of that until I was much older, right? So just this whole new world because town picnic different.
Yeah, man, town everything different.
Then different, but like bad. Bad. The force ripe, the things they talk
is
about.
Very different.
Everybody have Lisa Frank. What is that? It was really. Do you remember those Lisa Frank folders?
No, I remember the Lisa Frank folder. I mean, I have one green one.
I never had any. I didn't know it was a thing. But yeah, it was, just a really different experience to be away from my grandmother as well, and church and just Pathfinders and everything that was St. Anne for me. But it definitely also became another amazing chapter of my life. St. Andrew High it's St. Andrew High. I mean, come on.
I honestly don't know what that
this
means.
Is where we part ways for a while.
Because
and that's not to say, St. Hilda's is definitely one of the best. And so is St. Andrew High, and we know this, So St. Andrew was also a wonderful place. I learned a lot about leadership there, and leadership in terms of being of service, which is not how people think of leadership.
Right.
And for a while, everybody called me badges, call me just have 33,000 badge. But it's full of badge. There's one person that still calls me badges to this day. And I'm always surprised when I run into her and she says badges. Just like, but yeah, that was me.
Okay.
All
right. So let's get back to when we met up at NCYD, because at that point, you were youth empowerment officer. You were in charge of youth leadership. Tell us about some of the programs and how did you actually get into that? Is this something that you wanted to do with your life? When did you realize that empowering youth is something that you wanted to do?
I think without meaning to, all the careers I chose were quite controversial in my family and friends. So I was actually working for an advertising agency. And I saw this job come up, and I wanted to be of service. I didn't say it in those words, and I didn't understand it to be that, but that's just where I wanted to go. And maybe I got some of that from my dad as well, who's big on community work and so on, and politics. But when I applied for that job and I resigned from my advertising agency job, I remember the managing director was very upset because he was like, where you go? You go work in a government and left private place money? But it was very it was a no-brainer for me. And so I went to NCYD, and that's sort of where I don't think I knew I wanted. This is either 2006 or 7, somewhere there. I don't quite remember. I think it was 6. Not sure. But I don't think I knew I wanted to be in youth work before I applied for that job. But when I saw the job, I knew it was that Moando. So I was responsible for the uniform groups, and that included the Pathfinders Club that belongs to the Adventist Church, the Cadets, YMCA, YWCA, and a few others that were considered uniform groups nationally.
So that's where you and I kind of built on our friendship. You're doing the work, I'm PRing the work, and we were going to every party and everything in the night and coming to work and being great in the days.
Yeah.
But then I recognized that a spark had left you and a new spark was coming, because you found out that there was an opportunity in India to do your master's. Me have separation issues. So me did I give you one old problem as your friend. Me that go on with myself.
Everybody thought I was crazy.
Well, it wasn't crazy for me. You were leaving. So it wasn't about going somewhere to do something great. I was just not coming with you. So that was the base of my issues with you.
You were free to come.
No, me never did I go come. Because me did have some other something me need for you. But that was when you also faced quite a lot of animosity from persons who were close to you because they were wondering what you were doing. So first of all, tell me what you went to India to do, and why did you want to do that? Because it felt like another changing of or transitioning in your life. This is why I say you live many lives.
Yeah, I guess that's a way of putting it. But I mean, it was just as haphazard as me getting into youth development, to which I had sent some youth ambassadors to this conference, a youth conference that was in Sri Lanka. And when they came back, one of the persons that came back were like, we met this, the head of the school was a part of the conference. And they're like, we met this person from this school and we thought, who would be crazy enough to go? This school specialized. It was one of two in the world at the time that specialized in youth development. And I am a person that really does not do surface. Like once me I do something, I just put my foot in it. I really do go all the way, and I really believe in depth and I believe in mastery. And so if I'm in youth development, I want to be in youth development, right? So the school was like, all you're going to do is youth development? Okay. And so me just look, and within like a month and a half, I sold my things.
You sell everything though.
I
Everything in
sold
your apartment, your car.
I mean, I
sell
didn't
out
even,
your life and I got
it was
India.
crazy. Yeah, I know. And my family, definitely, they were very concerned because it's India. It's not like a quick flight away.
Right.
It was, and I didn't really have much information, like, except for what in a booklet. I started to Google things that I need to know about India, but there are lots of things that really I just found out after I hit the ground. I went to a place called Sriperumbudur in Chennai, formerly known as Madras.
Right, because at that point, I said, Trishan, I not even see that place up on the map though. Where you go? Where are you going?
It was, yeah, man, it was special. I don't know. But for me, it was like, yes. It was a clear yes. And I remember the day I went home, I used to journal quite a bit, and I still do. And I wrote in my journal, I'm going to India. And I wrote it every day until it materialized, It was clear. It was like a yes for me.
And this is one of the things that I've always really admired about you, that when you say you're going to do something, I mean, clearly I was not on the back end seeing you journal or thinking about it while you were at home. But whenever you said that you had a resolve to do something, you would just say, Dania, it's gonna happen. Never do it. I'm never go.
Yeah.
You probably don't understand it right now, and it's not for everybody to understand, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So you got there to India.
Yeah.
And tell me how that was for you. Getting there, getting to your school, what you were doing at school.
Nothing prepares you, especially back then. Now we have social media and many things that you can find out so much before you reach to a place. At that time, no.
Because this was like 2009, no?
Yeah, maybe about that time. And then I just remember coming from the airport. Even that was a whole mix up. The family that I ended up staying with, there was some miscommunication where they did not know I was coming.
Okay.
And they didn't know I was coming when I was coming. And me just did it though. Me there at the airport. Me ready. And the people them just have to make them house ready and come for me now. Because I'm there.
Right.
And so I went, and my school wasn't quite ready because I was like the first international student. It was a fairly new school. And I stayed, the first sort of really memorable part of my whole experience there was this family that I stayed with, this Muslim family, and just like watching them be a family, watching them wake up before day to do their prayers and this sort of thing. It just began to set this tone of India as a place that believes in the sacred, and it's really woven into their lives. It's not like something completely separate that they have to go do. It's like it's a part of their everyday being.
It's our lifestyle.
Yeah, it's a part of their lifestyle. And so within about a month, I stayed with them for way too long. Right, for being a total stranger, but they were really hospitable and wonderful. And then I went to school, and I lived, and there are all the creatures. There were snakes.
Yeah, because I remember one time I called you and you said, girl, snake there. But there, everything bigger than what we know.
Everything was there. Like everything, why? Because my dorm, right, the female, first of all, where I was staying, as women, you don't wear sleeveless. So it was a really very conservative kind of area in general, not just the town, not just the school, but all of the place, right? And it was just the girls' dorm, the female dorm was set apart, like in the bushes, like them want to make sure say nobody can too reach and nobody not teeth out gone away. There's none of that in this cabinet. So the girls' dorm was sort of, it used to be forest and now it's the girls' dorm.
Right. So everything is
So
there.
everything
All
is
the
still there.
animals.
Yeah. But it was really cool. Like in the summertime, the monkeys they would want to share the water from our water cooler, and they would come and they would sit around and pick the nits from each other, and they would be waiting to have some water, and they would be, kind of close by when you got to eat. And it was just a thing.
Just living with nature.
With nature. With nature. The only piece I never quite adjusted to were the snakes. Like that was because what you mean?
Yeah. You just live
like
with snakes.
why? Yeah.
But one of the other things though is that you were never a very conservative person in terms of you live your life out loud, you are yourself, you wear all the things that you want to make you feel feminine and sexy, but you're also very flexible. So tell me about that transition, because you mentioned that the place was very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
There's no sleeveless clothes and a lot of the other things that you were very used to here in Jamaica, living on your own. So what was that transition like?
Absolutely effortless. The hardest part of being initially, there were two things that were difficult for me. One was that the concept of privacy didn't really exist. They're very communal, especially because you're a foreigner and you're alone. So I'm in the library, you stand up and look, oh, Trishan, what are you doing today? Why you look for what me I do? We not do that here. We're not. So, so that was really new for me because I am sort of a loner. And it was interesting to just like never be alone. Like they all got together and said, we'll make sure Trishan is always with someone. And I didn't need that, didn't need it. So I did, it was really hard for me to do that, to have roommates and to have people talk to you all the time and to sit out. If you sit down alone, people come join you. If somebody did one time a runway, like me did just
when it's a runway,
one night I felt like if one more person speaks to me, just like comes near me, I'm gonna die. I ran out of my dorm and we weren't allowed to, there's a point you're not allowed to go beyond. And I went beyond it because I just needed to go where no one would. And so the girls were on one side, Trishan, and the boys are over. The boys heard that I'd escaped and they're over, but they can't come close. And I'm sort of in the middle and I'm like, oh my God, I'm still not alone.
I'm just shouting at you.
But just that ball though, but it just book. I just needed some time. And so that's definitely a difference in culture. And then the other thing that was really hard for me was never seeing Black people.
Not one time?
I saw Black people once.
How long were you there?
Long enough. The good thing about where I was staying is that you do have like the darker Indians there, but there were no Black people. And so one day I went to Chennai to the mall and ran into some Africans on the elevator. I know they thought I was crazy.
What did you do?
I did everything. I could have been arrested for assault. I was I didn't hug.
Okay.
But I was just like, because I had locks and everything, right? I couldn't do my hair. There were so many things that you just don't, it was just a long time to have just never see Black people. And I never knew that was going to be a thing for me. I really didn't. Mm-hmm. I didn't expect that. So that was the one time that I saw like a group of friends and they were with their locks and their attire, everything. It was just Black people. Mm-hmm. And I was like, hi, guys.
And then I look for you like, oh, what did that girl, yeah?
Yeah, well, I think because I had the locks, mm-hmm. It was kind of like, and I had that accent I'm not Indian, obviously, mm-hmm. And so we were just in the elevator and I just wanted them to be like, be our friend. Here's our number. Come with us. They didn't do that. They didn't do that. No. So
in one of my check-ins, I don't know if you remember this check-in where it was my birthday, actually. Mm-hmm. And I was on the road walking with my BlackBerry Pearl, aging ourselves again. And
oh my God, BlackBerry Pearl.
Yeah, man, BlackBerry Pearl, ping. And I was talking to you, and then me just not talk to you. And then you send me one email, and I asked me what happened. And me did I walk on Halfway Road while me I talk to you upon my BlackBerry. And one bicycle man just drag it out of my hand and just gone with it. And you did feel like, say, somebody take me away because I think you could have heard it before me. I say, ah! Or something like that. Yeah, but doesn't have no phone no more.
Yeah.
We went through a lot from afar.
Yeah.
But you were spending time, holidays, with your friends.
Yeah, every holiday I would visit a different parts of India and go home with people and stuff because the school itself had people from all over India. That's one of the great things about it. So yeah, I visited lots of places that are not on your tourist list of places to visit.
No, they're not.
And because we're all in the same program too, so I did my internship in Delhi, and I did some community projects, like I was in the slums, yes, Slumdog Millionaire, yes. I was in the slums with one of my girlfriends, doing some youth work there as well. So yeah, it was pretty cool and a great way to be exposed to other parts of India and to go to the temple and to do these other things, but not necessarily. I don't know. It was just still like regular life because it wasn't touristy things. All know I'm gonna reach Taj Mahal though. All know I'm gonna see the Taj Mahal.
Okay.
All know.
And you come back about 13 years now.
Yeah.
And then there was one call, one glorious day.
I'll take a drink here.
For the one else. So Trishan calls me. And she says, Dania, I may have something to tell you. I may say, what go on? Because I depend on the adventure of India. What happened? Will you see what you do? Then I'm pregnant.
I mean, I had been there over a year. Things happen, After having a quiet year, I went to this place called Meghalaya, and I had gone with a friend. And I think it was one of the most beautiful, fertile places. I honestly blame the location.
Okay. You blame the fertility of the location.
You guys have to just Google it. Google Meghalaya. Google Shillong.
Spell it for them. Google it.
Google the live bridges. Google the rainfall. Google the orchids. Google the rivers. Like, you're literally just talking about this the fertility. It was just like everywhere. And it had been over a year, okay? Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what you want me to say here. It was what happened. It was, and then life as we know it changed again,
So let's talk about that transition.
And that was in itself, I was almost finished my program.
Mm-hmm.
And that was hard because everybody thought I was crazy to have gone in the first place. Mm-hmm. And now I'm going to have to leave because you can't.
Why you have to leave?
You can't be pregnant and go to school. That's like not even an option that was it's just not available. No. And certainly, that just wasn't an option at all. And one of the things that, while I considered staying, one of the things that I found out was that if you just by law that the father would have say and control over the child and the child's experience. I mean, I want to see me on an episode of Locked Up Abroad. So I'm going to come on my yard because it's home. Home is home. Yeah. So, despite whatever that going to mean when I come home, I'm rather the home.
Right. So let's put it in a little bit of a context. Yeah. As you started, some people thought you were crazy to have gone. You're there. You did it. You're almost finished. And now you're pregnant. And when I spoke to you, there was no doubt in your mind that you were going to have this child. When I spoke to you, I don't know what happened before that, but when I spoke to you, you were having this child and you were coming home.
Mm-hmm. And not everybody agreed with that either, right?
Not everybody agreed with that. And you came home. What happened when you got home?
Well, it was a little bit of a surprise because I think when I got home, there were those who thought I was coming home to get rid of the child and come back to life. Like if I was on this sort of, like I went on a mystical illusionary trip or something. It was kind of weird. And like, no, I would just resume. And it was also I myself didn't know because this was so not in the plan. There was no plan here. I just knew I couldn't stay in India under certain, like I didn't want to be there with a child. And I didn't know what I was coming home to do. And then I tried to find work and I couldn't because I found out that some of the decisions that I had made to stand up for young people before I left resulted in me being not a favorable candidate for the existing...
AKA blacklisted?
AKA blacklisted. And it took me a while to realize that had happened, but it, I don't regret the steps that there are things that I can do and sleep at night. Other people can do certain things, me not do certain things, especially not to the young people of Jamaica. So I don't regret the decisions I made. But when I came back, I found out that those decisions had led to me being, just put on a list that, she not work nowhere in youth development. So even though I came back as someone who had now studied youth development at the master's level at this specialized university, I could not find a job nowhere. And then, it took so long to find a job that I started showing. And at that point, you're not going to find a work. That's definitely more difficult. And so it was...
And by that, you mean more difficult to find a
people
job
not going
while you're showing.
While you're showing, because
employers are
nobody's
now thinking about, okay, soon she'll go off on maternity leave. We have to pay somebody else while she's off and all of that. Okay.
But that led to another adventure because then I started marking papers for the Ministry of Education and helping them to, pilot test their exams and so on. But for the most part, I wasn't working. So big up my family, big up them because, and this was the journey that led me to integrative yoga therapy.
Right. So when you came home, all of these, when we look back at it now, we can see them as blessings because of what it led to. But at the time when you were going through it, it was a rough...
did I suffer?
Yeah, man, it was a rough patch. It was a rough patch. And
depressed.
Together, we kind of just never know what happened. Like, we'd come look for you, we'd attack every day, but we just, as people who are planners, we had no plan.
Yeah,
no plan
I didn't know what to do. I did not know what to do and what was going to happen, And there was something that my father said to me when I told him I was pregnant. He said to me, I'm not a woman. And so there are some things I cannot relate or understand. And so if you want to keep the child, I'm 100% behind you. Here are some things I do want you to think about. And one of the things he mentioned was just given your age and where you are, the cost of having a child at that point versus earlier or later. Whether earlier before you have to worry about time or later because you've established certain things, whether in your career, in your finances, and so on. So if you have a child now, what that means is you're delaying certain things. Just think about it and be clear, right? And I always remembered that because it was true. I was literally I never know what I'm going to do.
Right.
I can't get back in a youth development at the moment, and I don't know if I ever will, just based on what was happening or in what way. I mean, I was literally just planning to move to the border of India and Pakistan to work with the youth in the refugees camp there. I wasn't planning to come back very soon. And now I'm just there, pregnant.
And then this, as you said, led you to integrative yoga therapy.
Yeah.
And this is something that I feel like I've been on a journey with you from day one in terms of getting money to get to the first set of classes. Like a whole bunch of things to talk about, because one at the time, I said, when me go find the money for? I'm going to say, how much money is, we must can find 10 friends. You remember that? We're going to find 10 friends for do this and do that. And it really, when I see where you are now, it's just a testament of wanting to do something and getting there. But let's start at the wanting to do something. Was it that this was just another way for you to make money, or was there something else that was going on?
Well, I mean, when I started yoga, I was 8.5 months pregnant, and I had neck pain, and the doctor gave me some medication that was way too good. I was like, whoa, this this can't good for the baby, good for me, but whoa. And my friend gifted me like 3 yoga sessions with the illustrious yoga angels. And the first session, maybe my neck a tear off, by the way. I can't turn my head. It was excruciating. And I had this like headache. It was really awful. Went to the yoga session, maybe less than 5 minutes. Less than 5 minutes. She put me in a pose. She tell me to breathe. My headache gone. And my life changed.
Just so.
Less than 5 minutes. Yeah. Cara, that was the name of the first teacher. And so I used my gift certificates that my friend had given to me. And plus, the owner of Yoga Angels at the time, or well, still now, I think she just loved the baby mother them. So I just spent a bit of time there. But I mean, I was almost getting ready to have a baby, right? So when I had the baby, they had a teacher training and I wasn't planning to teach. I just wanted to know more about this thing that I had experienced that just felt like, well, I couldn't put it into words. So no, it was never about money because at that time, yoga was not that popular in Jamaica anyway on a certain
Absolutely
level.
not.
Definitely not the
There were
level it's
nobody
at
doing
now.
sexy poses on IG. That was not
it wasn't a thing. It was
wasn't a
nothing.
thing at all.
And especially was nothing here.
Right.
And I never did yoga in India, which is whatever many people thought. I actually boycotted doing yoga in India. I'm
and it's
ashamed
crazy
to say.
because don't be ashamed because it's crazy because when you tell people that you're a yoga therapist and they knew that you were in India, everybody think
Everybody puts it together.
Yoga therapy, and
I
that was
didn't.
not what it was.
Not at all.
But let's just tell. You remember you talking about this place that you went to that was fertile and you got pregnant. What is the name of the baby? My baby, my niece.
I named her after the place, Meghalaya, which means abode of the clouds, heaven. And it literally is like that. It's like high up. It's part of the Himalayan mountain range. And so there's fog. But you're in the clouds all the time. And it's just an amazing, beautiful place with amazing, beautiful people. And the land impregnated me is the story that we're going with.
It's what we're going with. And by the way, people, all this time I'm on this fantasy trip with Trishan. She tell me the place, she tell me the name, she tell me about everything. One day I watch National Geographic, you remember? And they featured the place. And
because
Trishan
it's
and
really
I'm like,
special. Yeah.
Trishan, I said, Trishan, the place where you got up on National Geographic is a place for true. And Trishan is like, so all this time, I tell you about the place,
I'm telling you,
place?
guys, Google it. They are really well known for the route bridges. MEGHALAYA.
So now we're at 5 minutes into this yoga therapy session and you knew this is what you wanted to do. You're changing your life again because now you're changing your career.
They definitely think I'm crazy because clearly you're not on a focus. Like, what happened? What happening? Why you change your mind? Now looking back at it, and I really hope like parents hear me on this because now that I am 40, how old am I again? 41. You sure?
Yes.
Somewhere there. It's between 40 and 42. Somewhere there. So now that I am 41.
Soon.
Okay. So I'm 41 then. So now that I'm 41, I think about myself at 27 and what was being expected of me, and it feels outrageous. Because know nothing though. Like so much things are going, some things and but it's such like it feels like so long ago, but it also feels when I think about the maturity that I have now and the clarity that I have now, this is what was being expected of me at 27. That's outrageous. We have to stop it.
And you know what? I just read something that a 60-year-old person said, and he said that up until 40, you're really just doing research in your life.
Absolutely.
Everything that you're doing is research.
Absolutely.
To figure out who you want to be after that. But that's not what we're taught. We're taught that we need to be successful by 25.
But from 18, you choose your college, there's so many things. I went to college. When I started university, I've been in almost every department at UWI, okay? And it was really embarrassing based on how people viewed it. But for me, I just felt like I was a person with a lot of interests and a lot of like things I could be good at.
Which everybody else
why was that a bad thing?
Yeah, everybody thought it was delusional.
Exactly. And so again, I didn't really tell people initially. Cause how me go explain say me go in there for go school for something, you know, like me go do my masters and then now me there so now and yoga? What that?
Yeah.
So I didn't really talk about it.
So you're now transitioning again.
Mhm.
New career that you want to take on with a baby. Was this a confidence builder in that quiet time when I wasn't really hearing from you a lot, or was it shattering your confidence?
I think that first of all, you know, most of the time it's what is happening around you that builds or shatters your confidence. How people are responding, the people you care about, right? Coming about not like when a business is what regular people want to say. And I think it was a little bit it did create some self-doubt and it did waver my confidence in a sense because everyone else's reaction to what I was doing was, what the hell are you doing? And yet I knew what I felt inside. I knew what I felt inside.
What did you feel?
What I felt was alignment. What I now understand to be Dharma. It is me being exactly where I'm supposed to be, doing what I was supposed to be doing. And there was no doubt about that. It was really it felt so right, you know? And so I didn't know where this road was going. And I didn't know what I was gonna do next. And I didn't know anything much really. And even though I am a hippie who gets to be a hippie once I create a foundation that feels stable. So not having the ability to create that was hard, and especially now that I have a baby.
Right.
I took my daughter to the yoga teacher training. She was there with me eating the yoga blocks for the whole time. And she was a really quiet baby, and she just, she was there with me I started yoga teacher training at 8 months. And remember, my intention wasn't to be a teacher. And so I think in a way, even though what the world and how the world was responding to me, there is a way that did not feel confidence building. There was an inner knowing that was solid and confident about what I was doing, wherever that was going, whatever. I didn't even need to know all the rest of the things. I am where I'm supposed to be.
Right. And I mentioned before that this was something that I admired about you, because at one point everybody was just like, but Trishan, you just need to go get a job. Get a work. What are you doing?
So sometime.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes I remember you saying to me, you feel like someone need to go get a work? And I remember not knowing how to answer that question, because I was like, I see the light in your eyes when you're doing this thing called yoga. And when I have, because you know me, been up and down, whether it be because I'm doing too much physically, or when I was on my weight loss journey at one point where the gym was just really hitting my body really hard. And you're like, I feel like you need some yoga. And whenever I did that session with you, and this time you not reach therapy stage yet,
No.
You're not reach no therapy stage. But whenever I was with you, the calm, the meditation, the poses that you'd put me in that fits my body and what I needed at the time. And I was just like, I don't know how to answer that question about if you really need to get one work, because when I'm with you, I feel healed. Whatever you're doing to my body, I feel healed. So how am I to tell this person? You can ball if you want. But I'm like, how am I going to tell this person that she needs to go get her work? Yeah. Because it's really hard right now when I feel what she's doing when I have the interaction. Like in my mind, we just need more people to get the interaction.
Interestingly, because I don't know if you remember that you had birthday yoga with me.
Yes.
Remember I took all of your friends and we went, I had your yoga angel studio on the rope wall. And at the end of that, you said to me, yoga with Trishan is life-changing. And I always remembered that. Because it was...
Many people cried in that yoga session.
They did. A lot happened.
My friends.
A lot happened. And so it was, I didn't have very many people that I knew, especially people who know me. Even now, I kind of struggle with balancing that, because people who know me in the yoga world don't know drinking, smoking Trishan, party girl Trishan, and those who knew me before they don't quite accept the transition here. And I don't know how much of a transition it was. I don't think I'm all that different. My behaviors might be different, but I'm still, I think, quite the same. And I realize that's hard for people to swallow, and that's fine. But yeah, it was really a great opportunity to have a friend who knew me from before, right? And like came with me into this new space and trusted. Because actually I did birthday yoga with you guys twice. Remember? Yeah.
Because then you did it for Tanique's birthday.
Right.
When we were having the sparty.
Exactly, the sparty. You have to say it with an accent. The sparty. And just getting to see, like, to be able to help your friends. Because it's easier to do it with people you don't know, right? Because it can be weird. But it was really amazing to have your group of friends and to like sit in my own knowing and offer this magic and see how it was received. I always remember that.
And guys, let me just tell you, so when me in a Trishan yoga session, when it done, the last part of it, where her voice is just saying things and me just drift away, I'll snore me, I snore one time. You know, one full session with stranger. Trishan, I feel tap me upon my knee and say, yeah, I snore though, my friend.
I didn't say it like that.
No, she not say it like that, but that's what she mean. But my point is that it is definitely life-changing. And I want to know where are you on that journey now? Well, because I think I lost count of the certifications that you've been getting.
Well, like I said,
and you got a grant the other day, so tell me about that.
Oh my God, girl. Well, like I said, I don't really do things surface. You know, I believe in mastery. I believe in being a student of something and really like leaning into it. So I want to just give thanks for the beginnings I had. I believe I was a yoga therapist before I even knew what yoga therapy was. Because I was always, remember I never really taught lots of public classes. I always had one-on-one clients. I always wanted to nurture people, especially women and stuff. So after many years, I ran into a yoga therapist. And I was like, wow, something name so. I never know what that. And then I went to study at the Ivy League of yoga schools.
Where's that?
In the Western Hemisphere. It's a place called Kripalu School of Integrative. Well, it's Kripalu School of Yoga, and my department is Integrative Yoga Therapy. And
what is Integrative Yoga Therapy?
I'm glad you asked. So, yoga therapy is really using the tools of yoga to empower you towards your own wellness. Mega say that again. Come on, why you hear me good? It's using these tools of yoga and it empowers you towards your own wellness. And what that means is that you are the highest authority on our journey. I am not here to save you. I'm not here to anything. I'm just here to guide. And everything that you need is already inside. I just know how to kind of brush off some things and polish it and give you some tools to make it like bust out, right? But the other gift of yoga therapy is that you learn tools. It's really a very deep and comprehensive program that enables you to work with medical conditions.
Okay.
And so what has happened is that I've become a sort of general practitioner. So I work with, persons with MS, persons who have anxiety or depression, along the cancer journey, persons who have regular back pain or lung cancer. Yes, we know. Pain. We know, but we're not going to go there because you don't do your homework when I give it to you. And so, one of the gifts is being able to bring, one of the gifts of yoga therapy specifically is that you have this training that allows you to bring yoga anywhere, which is what I've always wanted to do. So now I have sort of a three-pronged. I have the Calm Body Collective, which is my baby. And it's where, you can join a group that allows you to have yoga sessions, have Ayurvedic wisdom as well. And
what's
have
that?
Ayurveda is like the sister science of yoga. And it's the medicine that's from India. It's their version of medicine, right? And how they treat things, whether it's by herbs, but it really is about living in alignment with nature. Okay. It's living in alignment with your own nature and nature. And so I bring these tools together to create transformation or to help you transform, whether you have an illness or you just feel a little out of balance. But the intention is to really nurture people so deeply that when they experience that, they're like, oh my God, I'm so precious. I have to now go and nurture myself. I have to live a life that is nurturing to me. That is my intention. And so I've brought it into schools, into prisons, into everywhere. Now I work with schools because yoga therapy for teachers and bringing mindfulness into the classroom is really something that I think, especially in Jamaica, and especially post-COVID, is something that can really be pivotal. And bringing yoga or yoga therapy into the medical fields where, especially there's a lot of research that talks about how yoga therapy benefits persons with high blood pressure, cancer. There's some real benefit there, right? And so doing that. And then I work with just, your regular person who just need a little loving as well.
And I'm happy you mentioned the post-COVID era because actually in COVID, we made the paper. Do you remember that?
Yes, Curvy in Quarantine, baby.
Curvy in Quarantine,
right?
Because I recognize, and this was pre this podcast, because I recognize that, when we're all in COVID and we're all looking at our screens, a lot of persons started to do physical activity at their homes because we couldn't go to gyms or anywhere else. Yoga became quite
popular then.
Right, and yoga became quite popular. But I recognize I didn't see persons who look like me, who were curvy, who were plus size, who were full figured.
Except in my classes.
Yeah, except in your classes that were doing anything on my screens that I was looking at. I don't know if they were and not putting it out there, but I decided that, you know what, let's do a live. Let's do 3, actually. We did 3 where persons could join in and do some yoga with me and you. It was in my backyard at the time. So it wasn't nothing fancy. And we actually made the paper, big up to the Glean at the time.
Yes,
because
that was a wonderful experience.
Right. They actually shed some light on what you were doing for women during COVID because we really did lock up on that.
And it shed some light on the fact that one of my major one of the things I believe in is that yoga is for everybody, every type of body and everybody. And when people think about yoga, now when they think of the skinny white girl on her head top. And I just wanted people to know that, no, I have people who don't have any foot that do yoga. And so to really understand what yoga is, which is not what you're seeing. It's not just the physical postures. It's not just asana, right? And that I wanted to be able to bring it to curvy bodies and to every kind of body. It was just an amazing opportunity. Thank you for your innovativeness.
No problem. But even so, I look at you now and you're the confident person I knew from the beginning, the person I saw at UWI in the linen skirt, walking to school in heels, but in a different way. But for a moment in time, it wasn't like that again because there was another moment before we got to this calm collective and the grant that you just received, the working with women in trauma, that you were a little traumatized too because you were going through some things.
I think there was some trauma from before, certain things as well. But I was dealing with depression for a while, which was a really... Now looking back, I learned so much during that time. But that was a really rough time.
What was the basis of the depression?
The
basis you put it into words?
Yeah, the basis of depression was self-abandonment, because sometimes in relationships that's what we do, and so you can always point the finger on the other person or on what happened, but really I think what brought that on was being in an environment that wasn't healthy for me, and not knowing how to get out of it, because now I have a daughter and I'm sharing a life with a person in a way that I had never done before. I never lived with people yet. None of them something there. It was a very new situation for all the parties involved. But so yes, it was an unhealthy environment, and I definitely, just abandoned myself and in some ways, and allowed for, just kind of forgot the high priestess Trishan, and and had my heart broken as well. So, I don't want to make it seem like, yes, there's accountability, which is very important, and you have to take full responsibility. And there is also, like, I have a lot of compassion for myself, because what that situation taught me, because took me a long time to figure out why me never left. Like, I couldn't understand what did I go on. If I know Obia, like, what did I happen?
Because there are points I was wondering, so I'm let me not understand.
Yes, many friends were
I remember
wondering.
one time I said to you, say, you're hot, girl? What am I right now?
Yeah. And I got that response in different ways. I was also, people stopped talking to me during that time. Many things happen, not just in the situation, but when I was in depression. That was perhaps, it was a very isolated time. But looking back at it, I realized how much it meant to me to have a family. And I hadn't known until I paid a price for something and realized how much I was willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? And so, and then we wrapped that up.
We wrapped it up.
Oh, it wrap up. So bubble wrap, saran, like every kind of wrap, it get wrap up.
How did you get out of it?
I would say a combination of the divine is always with you, eh? There is that. And I think just remembering who I was. I will always credit going to therapy and taking the steps, because I really believe in, you can't just sit down, whether I pray or meditate or whatever. You have to meet the divine somewhere. You have to do something sometimes. And so I had started therapy, like just, and it didn't even take long for certain things to begin to turn over. I just needed some support in that kind of way. So yeah. And then I moved out of that situation. But even so, literally. The depression I did move literally, but the depression took a while to shake. And it brings a lot of shame, especially when you're a hot girl and this and that. There are a lot of expectations of you to never be depressed, never be too anxious, never be, man idiot, want to. We are Jamaican, man idiot. Yeah, man idiot. So that's it. Like all the things. And so it took me it took me about 3 years or so, I think, to like re-emerge into like, okay, I fully exhaled.
Right.
And then the depression thawed out, fully.
How can we, if there's a woman out there right now who
just left,
sorry, any type of depressive situation, whether it be job or relationship or even a friendship, because sometimes our hearts get broken
by
way
friends?
deeper
of
by
course.
Friends than in
friends
romantic
have broken
relationships.
My heart. Yes, right. Absolutely.
You have been, for me in my life, the poster child of living many lives. And it actually brings me to a quote from Alan Watts, who said that you're under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. And when I think about that quote, I think about you, because of how you've always transitioned, and even with the challenges. Because one time in a Trishan, I said to myself, no, but Trishan has struggled for too long. Like, me actually say it. Yeah, man, say, yeah, struggled for too long. We'll have to make a breakthrough. But when I look at you now, getting your grant, going to the school abroad, the things that you're doing with women who have faced trauma, with teachers, with students, it my mother does say, pan out. What would you say to that person going through that right now, especially to remain confident in the next step?
I know this might be controversial. You don't have to be confident in the next step. Just be confident in your own ability to survive this moment. That's it. Just know, if you're not dead today, you have tomorrow. And I know it sounds like rock bottom, but a lot of times I felt that way. That I wasn't sure if I would be here tomorrow. And so I believe that if you have just even a sliver of something that will pull you forward, right? Whether that's a dream, for some people it's their children. I can't really relate to that, but different things, whatever it is that will pull you forward, Just believe in your capacity to survive today. Because some things are, the magic is in time. You can try all you want to try. Some things happen with time because life has to unfold. You have to have new relationships that bring sunshine into your life. You have to, like, things take time. And in the meantime, you are still worthy. While you're depressed, while you're an idiot and can't figure yourself out, while you probably did figure get a job and can't feed yourself properly, all the things in the middle of that, you're still worthy. You're still absolutely deserving of all the love, and especially your own. And nobody now come save you.
Nobody.
Nobody's ever come, but you don't need to be saved. Actually, you just need to survive till the next day, and your surviving will become thriving. As long as you have just keep looking towards that little light. And I would say that I would love for people to change their perspective around when we go through hard times. I think there's whether it's that I was depressed or, that's the best of you. That's when the best of you comes forward. The things that I experienced going through COVID and my business dropped down. I mean, whenever open a Pandora's box there. All the different times when I, getting pregnant when I did not expect to, those things allowed me to have a sort of bone deep wisdom that I would not have learned any other way. And they allowed me to be able to put you to sleep in my class and to bring true nurturance and to bring my own je ne sais quoi. This is my life that I turn into something and be able to speak to bodies and to be able to, that's your stuff, Just give yourself a chance.
Give yourself a chance.
Just give yourself a chance. Just come off of give yourself a chance. Stop name up yourself.
Yeah. And we name up yourself, Sometimes we
name up myself. Me name up myself. Me name up myself. Or I used to.
Yeah. Well, with the newfound confidence, something you and I love to do is posing. And so we are going to have the Being Broadtail confidence pose off. And we may have been friends for almost 2 decades, but men are friendly not posing. So make sure you bring your A game. Are you ready?
Wow. I feel like we need protective gear. What is happening?
Let's do it.
I'm ready.
All right.
Born ready.
Miss Cupid, hello. You fire bow and arrow. I feel it all bow. Back to my elbow. I'm too late. Hello. You fire bow and arrow.
All right. And so, Trishan, you have given me so many gifts when my body really needed it. And so this time...
This bag is nice.
Yes, I know, right?
Flowers.
It's from our friends at CPJ from Grey Goose Essences. And it is chock filled with little gifts in there.
Come on, look in the bag.
Here you go.
So
you have your Grey...
Feel heavy.
Yes, you have your Grey Goose Essences. And I know you like watermelon, so you got that one.
What?
And you have your own tumbler in there. Yes, you have, we're into skincare and looking luscious and yummy. And so you have a gift card from Morgan's Creek in there.
What?
You have your affirmation cards, girl. And I have another gift for you that you're going to get pretty soon. But enjoy that first.
Yes.
Yes.
I like what's going on in my bag. I like get things.
I know this. Also, in our season last year.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. In our season last year, we revealed our affirmation cards. The Being Broadtail affirmation cards.
They're amazing.
Yes.
If you don't have one, you don't stand a chance. Get with
Just
it.
like the lotto.
Get
Super
with it.
lotto. The confidence lotto. And so, as you know, on our program, I allow my guests to choose one. They don't know which one.
Mm-hmm.
And I will see if it aligns with their next step, something they've gone through, or possibly where they are.
It's going to align, obviously, because it's just like, I want this one.
That one? What does it say?
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Ha! But that's right, cat.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right, cat.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
I create my own ideology of my beauty, value, and divinity, which makes criticisms from strangers obsolete.
Okay. I just love that you're the high priestess and you got one that has
Like-
divinity in it.
I mean, everything about this,
Works every time.
you know, I just want to say thank you because the thing that you did for me today, you gifted me something beyond the bag. I've been thinking a lot and feeling like I have some new changes to make again. And I've been like,
It wouldn't
God,
be you
I'm not
if it
so...
were changes.
But you know, funnily enough, I've defined myself as someone who's kind of rigid and not willing to change. And I'm not sure.
Really?
But yeah. And having this conversation with you did what it's supposed to do, what friends do, which is remind you of who you are. Because listening to just all the things I'm going to talk about, the things them remind me, say, but I got this though.
Mm-hmm. You absolutely do.
I got this. So I really appreciate that. Look out for big things because I create my own ideology of my beauty, value, and divinity, which makes criticisms from strangers
obsolete.
And
of course, you know all
may
about...
I keep this? Yeah, may I keep it?
You have one in your bag.
But I want that 1 year.
Fine.
It just feels special.
Okay, have it. You know all about my ZZ plant. You know it's from East Africa. You know they said that it's a money tree. And
Can I put that in my bag as well?
No.
Okay.
I'll get you one from Evergrow. That's where I got mine.
Just checking.
But of course you have to touch it up because I want... Let me scoot it over to you. I want it to continue to be able to...
You said money tree, prosperity, abundance. This is what you're saying?
Yes, I'm saying. We're going to try to get back mine. ZZ plant.
All right. I'll leave it here because I do believe in abundance. The tree loves me and I love it.
Yes,
Let me
thank you.
receive.
Thank you very much.
Let me receive what it's giving. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. This conversation was so long overdue. And though we didn't do a whole yoga session, it was definitely therapy. Being a witness to the evolution of Trishan and how she confidently stands in her decision because she knows of her purpose has been quite inspiring. I cannot believe we're already mid-season, guys. In another week, we have another episode. Same time, same place with the spirited essence of Grey Goose on Being Broadtail. See you then. Being Broadtail is brought to you by CPJ, distributors of Grey Goose Essences, the Harry J Recording Studio, Broad Axe Communications, 1010 Events and Rentals, and Morgan's Creek.